budget to be guided by the impending NTS2. Then also linkage your integrated development planning and results-based budgeting. Also another guidance ensuring that implement costs are within the 37 threshold. Another guiding principle is efficient revenue mobilization. So the issue of revenue collection is coming from the state that we need to ensure that an efficient and effective way of collecting revenue. Then full utilization of the ERP to enhance billing and collection efficiency. Use of the new evaluation role is guided by the call to action. So we know with the new evaluation role that we adopted. And then the next point there, we've also the last point there is also stakeholder engagement. One of the guiding principles. And the period what we need to, when we come with the budget, stakeholder input is critical. I'm sure that's why the reason why we are gathered here today. And that's the same reason why we came to the world. Because we need the input from stakeholders. So that when councillors eventually approve the budget, they are guided by the input that we get from stakeholders. Because the councillors are the ones that have the mandate to approve the budget. As the stakeholders, we contribute to the budget, to input in the budget making process. But the mandate to approve the budget lies with the council and the Minister of Local Government in terms of the public management 28. And then the next slide. Then the process of budgeting, this budgeting process, budget preparation, and also guided by the legislation which we have already discussed above here. Then there's the issue of budget review, budget execution, budget monitoring and evaluation. These are the budget processes that we go through from January to December. It's a budgeting process, it's a continuous that takes all throughout the year. Next slide. Then now we want to focus on the budget. I'm sure we all got the tariffs. The invitation that we circulated are covered by tariffs. What we're going to do here, we're not really going to go through all the tariffs because there are quite so many of them. But what we're going to do, we are going to highlight tariffs where there are changes. That's what we're going to focus on. We're only going to focus on tariffs where there are changes. Otherwise, where there are no changes, they are as guided or as we already in place. So those tariffs, they are not changing. But there are few that are changing. The first tariff that's going to change is the water tariff. The water tariff is going to marginally come down. I think there has been an outcry that water is expensive. But the guiding principle when coming up to the tariff for water or any service delivered, a utility service, is full cost recovery. What that entails is we get all the costs that are involved in coming up with that tariff, with that service. So for instance, for water, we look at the cost of preparing the raw water, the cost of electricity, the cost of chemical, the cost of manpower, the cost of repair maintenance, any costs that are related to ensuring that we have safe water, we get the water from the river until you open it at your tap and you are comfortable to pay to drink that water. All those costs, we bring them into account. And then when we consider those costs, then we come up with the tariff. So whenever we determine that, it's guided by that. And it is also a requirement by ministry that we submit that cost, and because the ministry also evaluates that cost, so that when they approve the tariff or when they approve the budget, they've also reviewed our cost build-up to ensure that we are charging the proper price as guided by the costs that are involved in bringing the service to the residents. So whenever we have that tariff, those processes have been done, we've gone through, council have considered, ministry will evaluate it. When they are approved it, they are also convinced they've done their assessment to ensure that that's the proper cost. So for us, fortunately, this year, there's one cost ingredient that went down. So because we are based on cost build-up, we had to consider that. So when we added the cost, the total cost was less than what we charged last year. Last year, the entry cost was 82 cents. This year, the entry cost is 74 cents. Because there is one cost element that went down in terms of when we are getting it. So because of that, that cost is also, that benefit is also accruing to us as residents. So the price of water will marginally come down. But by the same token, if any cost element changes, what it means when the next review, let's not be surprised when price changes. Because it's as a result of the cost what? Product that is there. So the water is likely going to change downward in 2026. And you can go up. I think those are categories: high density, medium density, low density, and commercial is graduated according to the format there. You can go to the next slide. Then vegetable markets per day. Those ones, they are coming down from dollar per day to dollar per 2 days, practically coming down to 50 cents a day. So that's the reduction that is there. Then reserved parking. In line with the government policy, I'm sure you have noticed in the media that there are certain charges that government has reduced. So in line with that, our parking is part of what government has reduced. So as council was also responding to that, and given the guiding instructions we are getting from government, they are encouraging us to ensure that we follow the government guidance. So we've also reduced the parking downwards. Same applies with what we also reduced is the minutes per copy. They are coming down from $10 to $5. That's where there are some changes there. And then one where there is a positive increase change there is play markets. Those ones they have been brought to in line with other markets. Because all other markets are being charged $20. So that one has been aligned with other markets so that there's also a bit of equity or fairness in terms of our billings. And then in terms of the next slide there, we're talking of supplementary charges. Supplementary charge is the charge on our bill. I'm sure we've noticed that currently with just one line on our bill. Use both supplementary charges. In the past, we used so many things, but in 2025, with one line, which is called supplementary charge. So we have from our cost this year is changing from $10 currently for a 200 square meter stand to $10.75. And then in terms of our valuation law, the smallest stand is 200 square meters. And any subsequent size is also becomes a unit. For instance, if you are sitting on 400 square meters, you have 2 units. If you are sitting on 600 square meters, you have got 3 units. So if you are sitting on 400 square meters, you are going to be charged $10.75 times 2. So you are going to pay according to the size of your stand. That's the supplementary charge that we have there. So I will take the question at the end after going through the question check. Please. The tariff. Check on the first page of the tariff. On the first page of the tariff, that's where the water tariff. That's the first page, the top part of the first page. Unfortunately, you go where it was where here I was just speak to where they are changing. I'm not going line by line. I don't realize that. I'm only picking where they are changed. And at first, I'm only thinking where that should be under. If you go under subheading housing administration fees, there's a subheading for the housing administration fees. Yes, so that's where you find that. Right, and then we go to licenses. Licenses, the marginal change is on building contractors. That's the $2 change there. Then promotional tables, currently is $25 per week. That is changed to $25 per day. This is when when you want a side table to promote, maybe you want to advertise your thing, government that you advertise $25 per day. Directional signs, where you are directing, so my business is there, my business is there. That one is changed from $26 per site per annum to $50 per site per annum. Then the rate factors, commercial rate factors. Those factors are 0.00235 and 0.0064. These are the factors that we use to build commercial properties. You will note that apart from our valuation group, for commercial properties, we have what we call value of land and value of improvements. We are saying we are sitting on a scale. The